Commissioner Akers.
Here.
Commissioner Vasili.
Here.
Commissioner Davis.
Present.
Commissioner Harris.
Here.
Commissioner Roddick present, and Senator Trader.
Present.
Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Approval of the minutes from September the 1st.
Motion to approve the minutes from September 1st.
Is there support?
Second.
Motion has been made and supported to approve the agenda, the minutes as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Glad to see you back, Commissioner Isaac.
Trying to get out of this one,
But I feel now the challenge of, and as thin as these minutes look, it was a robust conversation going on last month. And I have learned to do the minutes the way they told us to do it in workshop.
Breach.
It's difficult, yeah, to just, shut it down. So anyway, thank you. Welcome back. Okay. Public hearing, there is none. Communications and correspondence. I wanted, because this is something that I received as a correspondence, no action is necessary. I told this business owner that I would present this document to the committee members with the understanding that our role is a recommendation body, and he understood that and just felt that since part of what we do is developing new business and getting new people here, he said he's jotting down some ideas and would like to talk to us next month with some of these points backed by research and examples in surrounding communities. So.
And they're obviously very important because it's printed in all capital letters. I'm sorry. It's one of my pet peeves.
Why are you shouting this letter?
Exactly.
Sorry.
He said, okay, put his name up at the top. So, in your leisure over the next 3.5 weeks that we are apart, if you could just kind of like review it, and if you're triggered with some thoughts or questions, he will be on the agenda next month with some, as I told him, recommendations or ideas for us that we may pass along because we can do it.
Does the planning committee have any say over giving anybody tax abatement?
No, but the planning commission can make statements, and we can make a recommendation that council do a number of things. And that's, somebody apparently had told him that, and he felt that this was a way to get to the council.
I thought they were already doing this.
I think they started it and they stopped, so.
And we're not doing the tax abatement through the Renaissance zone anymore.
I spoke to him a while back, and I think he was more so talking about like residential property and building houses and stuff.
That is true.
And that's more where he was, businesses included, but
Yeah.
I think his focus was more on building up properties, like residential properties.
I think you're correct. I think he was talking about residential properties first because there could be results quicker with that, but he wasn't opposed to more strip malls and bringing
Right.
businesses in. So, and he was very vocal when we did our community survey and we had the business owners in. He's very supportive, so it'd be nice to keep the door open. But again, no action, but it will be. Ooh, bless you.
That was cute.
Glad you way over there.
Is it far enough?
Just go hug it a little bit, man.
Yeah, right.
Where's your house?
Matters of consideration, old business. Jeff?
We have, what we're hoping to be, the preliminary draft of the Parks and Rec document for you guys tonight. I tried to get it out electronically because it was a big document. Once we put the appendices together, over 127 pages, so
Yeah.
there was a lot of material there. So I've got copies here for the record and to look at. I was hoping you guys had some opportunity to take, if you had time before the meeting, take a look at the document, primarily the goals and objections and the action plan, because those are the new elements that were added. So I
You haven't had a chance to really look at this, Mike.
And that is
Give you a
deeply
copy of
as I
that.
would like to know.
Yeah, because, you know, obviously the history and a lot of that other part is very similar and complements the master plan, which it should. All of our documents should. But I also see where the context that you're using are different because it's more focused in
Should I give
terms
two to
of
Deb?
recreation.
in those goals.
Yeah, as
One for
opposed to
distribution and one for the
diagram
record.
format.
Mhm.
Where's one?
I was curious.
Hey,
Think it's the
Jeff,
same.
Yes.
Hey.
pardon me. So how many pages didn't get distributed? Because I know I was looking through, how many pages didn't get distributed electronically?
Everything, you should have received the entire
Okay,
document.
I
did.
Yeah, I just didn't have enough, I wasn't able to make enough copies for everybody
Oh.
tonight, plus make additional copies. if we
Oh, I
get
get what
them.
you're
Like
saying. I
two
thought
of
there was
these,
some.
Deb? One for the distribution and one for
Actually,
the record?
if we approve it as is, I have a bound one, and
Oh,
I've got
okay.
a copy for the library. If we're gonna be making changes,
Yeah.
we'll work something out.
Very few.
Okay.
I mean,
Because what I will indicate is if they're minor changes and it isn't going to detract from it, we can still release it, because we can make changes all the way up until the public
Right.
hearing
Absolutely.
with city council. So depending upon,
yeah, because a couple of my questions are effect of what we wrote,
Mhm.
okay? Oh, okay, page 34, where we deal with the administrative structure.
yes,
Is there a time limitation that the council would have to respond and create the board as suggested by this document?
no,
So they could go
no,
on,
this is a recommendation that they do so.
so they could accept the report and then it could just sit on the shelf.
They could, or someone could, depending on who wants to champion that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it is just a proposal of an organizational structure in here.
There's nothing that says we can't badger them.
You say what?
There's nothing that says we can't badger them if they're not moving in a timely manner.
Well, I'm a citizen, I can badger them all I want.
When we get to a point where we're before them presenting the document, we can definitely put emphasis on that and say that this is one of the most important actionable items. That's an item that accrues to their power to take that action.
I did have a couple, are you?
No, go ahead.
Page 46 and 47, or 47, and, I guess 46. Just the electrical service for holiday tree decorations, minor, just, that's actually going to be moving over to Fountain Park as opposed to the Division Street Park.
Okay, but we're just calling out as an amenity, they do have electrical, there is an electrical service box there, so things could be plugged, you
Oh,
could do
okay.
something else there.
Okay, because they'll have that at the Fountain Park too.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I think we note that as one of the action items is electrical service and a gazebo or something.
It was more so just the tree decoration,
Mhm.
to say that it's at one park versus the other,
We can strike that and just say electrical service
so.
and just pull those items out. That's not,
What page is that?
page 47.
We got electrical service at both parks.
Yeah, both of them. Then, I'm sorry, I had notes and I left them
No,
on
it's
the stairs. Somewhere in here is where you list all the, like Little League and all that sort of stuff?
That would be right after the section where we were just looking at the rec board.
After it?
Or
Yes.
something like that, tomorrow.
We talk about, yeah, it's page 36, other
36.
recreation service providers.
Six, there was just one that I remember off the top of my head, there's like wrestling,
Oh, we do have a wrestling type of program?
yeah.
Okay. That one I didn't come across that.
And the other thing is, do we have do we have maybe Bill, you know better, the women's league, for softball? Is that associated with junior hoops? Do we have a softball?
Yeah, well, it's associated with the Little League. I
Or with the
believe.
Little League, sorry?
Yeah.
Junior hoops, okay. But just the wrestling was one that I thought of off.
Okay.
Another thing, I read as much as all the way to the end with the exception of the comments, did we put in here somewhere Endeavor as being a resource that we would use the middle school? I know it was talked
Actually,
about.
you know what, we did not inventory Endeavor. Should we have them
Well,
in there?
a lot of the Little League uses it preseason, Junior Hoops uses it
Okay.
as their primary.
It's not
It's in
in
Ray
the village.
Township, it's not.
No,
Right.
I realize it's down the
When we
road.
list the organizations,
Right, I don't know.
and we say that they use
But
that,
it's not
it's
the
away
village.
from what's being used here.
No. That's Phil's schools. I don't know if you wanna.
It's your
I
guys.
wish it was closer.
It's your guys' call. I mean,
Yeah.
if it is utilized and residents do use it, I mean, we should call it out. I mean, it's not, I mean, we're calling out other school district
Well, it's part
facilities
of the
that are
school
within.
district, I mean,
Yeah, we can add
but
it.
it is, that's, west and north Avenue.
No, I'm familiar with where it's at. Yeah, we can add it right after we go through the schools, right after the high school, or after the elementary school.
Okay. And
What is the proper name to use for it? Is it
it's Endeavor Middle
Endeavor Middle
School.
School.
middle school? Okay.
And I think that was it that I saw.
Then I'll continue, page 59. Under the issue of accessibility. And we used a 5-point rating scale, 1 to 5, of no accessibility to extreme
Mhm.
accessibility. And we fall, for the most part, low to middle. Will that affect our ability to apply for grants?
No, it really doesn't. In fact, it can actually help if the facilities that you're looking to improve are, may say, restroom facilities, and you're going to say you're going to use universal design standards, actually count in your favor.
Oh, to improve.
Yeah, and most communities score with these types of areas who've had facilities that have been existing for a while, and maybe not have put in capital improvements. When we scored out Utica, they only had one thing that actually got a 5 for them, when something had been done last year, and that was their boat access they had put in a handicap accessible boat access to the Clinton River.
Yeah, but most places is like 2.
There's definitely room for improvement, but if you really look at the 3 parks, Village, Fountain, and Division Street, they score pretty good.
Yeah,
Most-
actually,
We're really talking about the high schools, and then everybody who's low is just the private,
Oh,
the
yeah.
private subdivision.
I was surprised that there were 2. I thought our parks offer quite a bit of accessibility.
Well, Village Park does. I mean, you have the handicap bathrooms, you have the walkways. I think Fountain Park is since it's new, it's you're following all the design standards.
Yeah.
And it's a subjective. We can bump them up. I mean, I just.
Well, don't cheat. I just
No, but I don't, there's no strikes really against you. It's just they want to see that you're recognizing that you may have deficiencies, and then this will help you plan for improvements that you may do there.
Page 63, public comment, period, and public hearing. We just need to put current dates in there.
Yeah, and we'll fill those in once we know what these are. As the document finishes and we get to, we'll figure out when we have the final meeting, I just left all these as placeholders. They're just in red as a reminder that they need to be filled out.
very next page, page 65, very minor, last paragraph, the following, I'm recommending that it read, the following is a recommended list of goals.
Okay. Is a
Recommended.
list of goals and objectives.
Everything else reads.
Period.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The other was, Genevieve kind of answered my questions we needed. Because there were people that were absent, I was just asking for other recreational facilities that we may have overlooked. And the final thing is this whole appendix section. It is, why is it so difficult to read?
It's because it's an Adobe PDF. There's a way to get it clear.
Oh,
It just, as the format that I got kicked out from the survey ended up, all the survey questions
You know
ended up that way.
When I did that other survey, when I was talking to you, I took screenshots.
Did that work for you?
And it actually worked out.
Because
quite
we
well.
tried it a couple different ways, going to a Word document, doing a PDF document and everything.
I mean, the screenshots, though, if you're talking,
click them,
you
yeah.
gotta click them out and everything, but they lined up okay for the, they read better than this.
Yeah, we can definitely get that improved.
You, using Acrobat Reader or Acrobat Professional?
That was Acrobat Pro.
There's a, you can save out a PDF as JPEGs.
Mhm, yeah,
That, I may end up doing that and then just tacking them together.
yeah.
Any other comments? What's your recommendation?
My recommendation is to you guys, we can make these changes. My recommendation, if we want to stay on track, would be to release this to the public, to vote to release this to the public for 30 days. We can make these corrections and get the new copies out to you guys tomorrow, actually, in the afternoon. As long as we post on the doorway and post at the library the dates that it's open, starting tomorrow, and then have the clerk put a posting in the paper that covers the entire period to make that announcement.
She already posted it.
She has already posted it.
She had posted the announcement about the 30 days coming up. It's already posted.
Oh, then we're all set.
No, it has to be put in the paper.
But we do need to put a notice in the paper.
Right.
So, because the notice in the paper is important, because that copy of that notice will go as an appendice in the document to show the state that it was advertised to the public.
She got the same email, and I think she told me she moved on it already. Of the announcement that it's going to-
Yeah, because I gave her sample language, so
Exactly.
she just took it and posted it?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the, oh, never mind, I guess.
And so what she posted was the announcement that it's going to be available for 30-day review.
Okay. That's probably,
Did she have dates on it? You know?
that would probably be this text that I sent her. And I said, the Village of New Haven is seeking public review and comment on the village's 5-year Parks and Recreation draft plan. The plan will guide the village on decisions to be made over the next 5 years. Plan will be submitted to the Department of Recreation to ensure village eligible for recreation grants. The plan will be available for public review and comment from October 7th
That's
through
what,
October 9th.
just an announcement.
That's tomorrow,
Yeah.
so she did that. And then it's also, we have a website on here. I've got a copy of it available online, so if anybody goes to this, they can download a copy.
Motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to distribute the Village of New Haven Parks and Recreation Plan for a 30-day review and post its availability.
Is there support?
Second.
Motion by Razak to post the distribution of the New Haven Parks and Recreation Plan, supported by Commissioner Musette. All those in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, committee.
With the action of letting this out for 30 days, the public has 30 days to review and comment on it. We've asked them to submit their comments in writing to the clerk. the next course of action would be the next course of action, now this is out for 30 days, would be is to hold a public hearing. This body can do
Council.
it. This body can do it, or council can do it. In a lot of cases, if, for the vote, a lot of communities or planning commissions will waive the hearing to have council hold it at their next meeting, which then they can take action on the document if that's their choice. So really, a recommendation to council from this board to, one, hold a public hearing at their November meeting would be in order. And then also, for them, a recommendation for them to adopt by resolution the plan at the next meeting after the public hearing.
In November.
That would be their November 10th meeting, I believe, yeah.
Okay,
And I've got some sample language for what that resolution could look like for them.
Okay.
If that's too fast, we have time, you know.
But why wait? I mean,
Right.
Yes.
the only thing I'm concerned about is just with Deb, does this have to be put in the paper for the 30 days to become effective? So if this hasn't published yet,
No, that didn't,
That
there was
doesn't make a
no
difference?
regulations, no.
Okay,
It
so
just-
as long as it's
and-
published
and- and
somewhere.
In fact, the guidelines for rec plans just said, published in a public place of note.
oh, so the door.
So
Okay.
just the fact that it's on the door is good. That just enforces it, and, you know, we'll send them the notice, then we'll send them a copy from the paper. They're not as stringent as the master plan.
Just so I'm clear,
Me
Jeff,
too, Pamela.
the publication, you saying on the door, is that to announce that it's available
That
for
it's
the 30
available
days?
for review.
Right, okay.
So that part is done.
That part would be done, if she has that language. it
Well,
would just
I'm
put it
already
on the
done
door.
because I came in that door and I didn't see
Yeah.
anything published, okay? That's why I said, that's why I may be clear on it.
Okay, there's supposed to be an announcement of the availability.
Which would be announcement of a public notice, and this is saying that it's available for review.
Right.
It
and
gives
you
them
sent
the
that to her,
instructions,
didn't
I
you?
sent this to her, yes.
That has been done.
Okay,
That, whatever you sent her,
Mhm.
she said, I posted it.
okay.
Okay, but it's not posted.
Yeah, she
I'm
should
telling
just
you
get a
now,
copy,
it's not-
get a
it's not
copy
posted
of
out
it
here
or
anyway.
on the.
Well, we have to make these
And this is the first place you should
Well, we
post it.
can, yeah, we'll have the changes available tomorrow, so we'll bring the changes out, so we have them at the library here.
Okay, you're just gonna send us the changes that we're actually, that you're changing tonight. So you don't have to send us the whole thing all over. You just gonna send us the changes?
You know what, it's gonna change the page nation, because we're gonna have pages, so I'll have to bring a whole copy of it. But that's okay, let's have someone from staff run it out tomorrow.
The whole copy?
Yeah, I'll send you a
Oh,
whole.
I mean,
Yeah, no.
I made a copy myself.
Yeah, no,
But-
we'll do a whole new
Oh,
copy,
okay.
we'll punch it and bind it, so you guys have these guys there, and we'll drop one off at the library, because I talked to, the librarian earlier this week, and she said she's more than happy to have a copy of it for review.
Okay.
Okay.
And the clerk did tell me today that if there were some major changes tonight, that she would make copies for the board. So,
Okay. We've got time to get that.
But if you're gonna bring the whole thing out, we can.
Yeah, we'll bring the whole thing out, and also change the one that's on the website.
how many would you be bringing out, though?
I'll bring out 3 copies. One for here, one for her to have, and then one for the library.
Okay, now, we would be making a recommendation to council to hold a public meeting at their November meeting.
At their November 10th meeting.
And then at that same meeting, later on, once they have the public hearing, earlier on, later on, in the same meeting,
To take action.
we can take action.
Same way we did the master plan.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Does that need to be in the
Somehow we need
resolution?
notice to council for them to review it also.
Right.
Okay. So why don't you send that email to?
If
Or to the clerk and the clerk.
Can she email copies to everybody?
Mhm.
Okay, we'll do that then.
We're gonna have a public hearing on something that they haven't seen.
They have another month in order to
Okay,
have
so-
another hearing.
Does this need to be in the form of a resolution?
It should be as an action.
You haven't told them.
Action on it.
That's what we're
It's not
gonna
just
do.
an
Do we have
official
words
recommendation.
in,
Not for this one. I mean, this I wrote up for village council to what the left alternative approver language that we use. It would just be really, it'd be a recommendation to village council, to host a public hearing.
Adopt the
On the
resolution.
document and adopt the final draft of the Parks and Recreation Master
all
Plan.
right. But that still should be in the form of a resolution, right? Or is just a motion?
It's
for
just,
action?
it's just a motion of action from us.
Okay.
They're the ones who end up with the official resolution at the end.
Right.
Ours is just a recommendation to them, so
Okay.
it can
Well,
come
then
as-
I move that the planning commission recommend to the Village of New Haven Council that they hold a public hearing at their next meeting and adopt
The next meeting or November 10th meeting?
their November 10th, I'm sorry, their
November
November,
10th.
yeah, their November meeting and adopt the document of Parks and Recreation as presented.
Adopt the resolution.
Yes.
Second.
Motion by Akers, second by Harris. Roll call vote?
Commissioner Akers,
Yes.
Commissioner Harris,
Yes.
Commissioner Mathilli,
Yes.
Commissioner Davis,
Yes.
Commissioner Rodriguez, yes.
Any other matters of consideration?
Yes. Potentially at our next meeting, we may have application for a lot split coming from Mr. George Drake regarding his property at 58660 Victoria. He has submitted a lot split request and all of the documents required and the surveys. And after reviewing it, I have no the planner has no objections, other than he will need to seek a variance because his side yard setback, there's a common driveway that will be created on those two properties, and his side yard setback is a minimum of 50 feet is required. He only has 37 feet provided. So if he chooses to go forward with this with the building department, he may be before us asking for that variance at a future meeting. And if he were to, I would say it would be in order to grant him that variance.
Was the other,
Yeah.
the driveway wider?
The driveway,
If that was the one?
it's kind of a shared common driveway where he's looking to split it. There's some outbuilding barn buildings that are associated with
Oh,
a
is this
single family house on the side.
The barn.
There's two properties, yeah, he's looking to split that. So,
So is that an outbuilding? Would that be considered an outbuilding?
it is considered, well, they are already outbuildings to the existing farm or residential house that's there. That'll be on what will be considered parcel 2 that'll be created. He's looking to split the property in this fashion, but there is a driveway that is somewhat common to access to both the hall and then also to access back to the cell tower.
I didn't realize that was one, this property, the residential structure and commercial structure.
There's multiple uses, probably, I'm sure it's been grandfathered in.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, it's a total of 11, I believe it's a total of 11 acres total. And he's basically splitting it pretty much equally, fairly equal.
So he's separating the business.
He's
from the
separating,
house.
he's separating the hall from the house and the barn structures of it.
We would grant that variance?
It would come before planning commission, it's to grant that variance. And that's based upon the lot split ordinance that we're taking a look at.
Right.
It was my intention to get you guys new language on that, but looking at it, the part that's missing out of all of our ordinances, we have a lot split ordinance that says has methods and procedures for how someone comes in and splits a lot. In that ordinance, it specifically says that the combinations of property are exempt, but we don't have an ordinance on the book that talks about how you combine property. Because there are rules for it. I looked up and down, I couldn't find anything.
We combined a piece of property, period.
I don't know what method you guys used.
But I think we took the split paper and crossed out.
Okay.
It's a big deal. It never been done before because nobody wanted, but it was a piece of property that you couldn't do anything with. They kind of.
Yeah,
So let's put them together.
it becomes common to try to assemble property. Looking at some of the other communities that are out there, their land division ordinance has rules for both splitting and combining. Because when you do a combine, you definitely want the petitioner to be able to show ownership of both properties. You know, so there's some rules and some guidelines you may want to spell out.
Yeah, they took the split one and like hand wrote the modification on it, and it was basically 1 yard. It was all fenced in,
Mhm.
but it was 2 different parcels.
It's a pretty
You couldn't
simple
put a second house on, so it was a pretty simple one to put them together. But yeah, we had the same conversation. We didn't have anything.
Because there are,
on the books for
it can become a little more complicated. You need to have some rules where if someone has 2 adjacent properties and they're looking to combine them, but then you have different overlay zoning ordinances. For one, maybe zone 1, the other. It's good to have a prescribed procedure to state that, okay, now once you've combined them, proved ownership, we can combine them, but then you still have to come back and petition for, if you want to talk commercial or whatever your uses would be.
Okay, me and Lori had that conversation on the lot split. And we gave that to you, right?
You gave me the lot split one.
And in there, it does have the combined in there.
The only
We have-
thing it says about combines says that combines are exempt from this ordinance, it says. But it doesn't give it doesn't have
You
any.
don't say it, you
procedures
don't
for
get
how
in,
to do it.
right.
Yeah, and we just kind of winged it. It was a residential piece of property that was kind of like a big lot with one lot that was.
Okay, that ordinance was what we were changing and making the change as to, it didn't have to go to,
Didn't have to come to planning.
from the planning
Yeah,
commission, it go to the planning.
correct.
But we didn't have the combine.
Combine's not in there,
Wasn't in.
and there's one other place in there that we still need to basically remove planning commission.
Right.
Because it's,
Yeah, we got to,
there's a
yeah.
second part. So
Okay.
if you want for next meeting, we'll be happy to draft something that combines both of them.
Yeah, won't we? Yeah.
Put it all in one consolidated one, and then if you guys want to make a recommendation to council for their consideration, you can move it up there.
In between that, why don't you send it to Lori, let her, and so we make sure we cover all of it, so we don't do what we have to do again.
Yeah,
We
no, that
did
makes
it once.
sense, yeah, because she's the one who brought it to my attention.
Yeah,
as
she
well,
talked
so-
to me about it too.
You have anything for anything else?
Nope.
There's a gas leak somewhere.
Yeah, think this would be for some reading.
I have it on my computer, or, oh wait.
This is something else. This is my next magnus.
Okay,
Sorry I didn't have a stapler.
oh, that's okay.
Just some reading.
All right. Sorry.
Do you have anything else?
738 for Bill.
Okay, this does not require any action over the next month in your free time. If you guys could just take a look at this document, Village of New Haven. You did give me an extra one.
Yeah, I got it.
This is in regards to, we're in downtown business
No,
authority.
well, depends on the expression.
Just,
Oh,
again, something that some of the business owners have approached and expressed their interest in developing the downtown business authority. Again, it's a situation where we would be making recommendation to council. But I don't know if everybody's had a chance to take a look at this, at this document. And it's been around a while, like some of the others. I thought it had some interesting concepts. Take a look. Want to get your opinion on something like this for the village as we talk about developing and moving this town forward. So just give it to you to take a look at over the next month, okay? Any other matters of discussion? Public comments on non-agenda items.
Tanya?
Anything else from the plan?
No.
Motion would be in order to adjourn.
Before we do that, I just got a text from Chris, just a little small announcement that the homecoming parade is 4 o'clock on Friday.
All right. At least yours is a reasonable time.
Yeah.
We had ours the week after school started.
Adjourned at
Lots of crews.
7:39.
Well, we gotta have a motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
At 7:37.